You're 16. In the morning, you go to school, have classes, and hang out with your friend group. In the afternoon, you have no classes, but your friends live far away, so you just stay in your room doing nothing. Except, you all have Minecraft for the Xbox One, so you hop on Discord and start building, exploring, and hunting with your friends. Slowly, you realize that this game is showing sides of them that you didn't really see before. How some like to build things that look good even if they don't serve a purpose, while others are driven by functionality above everything else. There's also that one guy really into making villagers slaves, but we don't talk about him. Revisiting these memories made me realize how much of my friendship's connective tissue was made by playing random games with familiar people. Some research even shows that 78% of teens feel a lot closer to friends they already know when playing online games. But what if you could extract something beyond the vague feeling of closeness? What if you could tell who someone is based on which buttons they press? While Minecraft does this to a certain extent, there's a blind spot that could only be explored through my favorite co-op game of all time, Dark Souls. I know, it feels like a weird pick since Dark Souls has such a prominent single-player experience, but the first time I genuinely enjoyed online co-op was in 2017 playing Dark Souls 2. I had picked Sorcerer because 14-year-old me was a pussy, while my friend picked a Knight because he was reading Berserk. Seeing my friend in combat made me realize we were basically playing different games, which was amazing. It truly seemed like he was a knight that explored unseen dungeons, while I was a scholar with secret scrolls from ancient castles. So, to accentuate the co-op experience as much as possible, I chose to play Dark Souls with the Seamless Co-op mod, a mod that lets you play from start to finish with someone by your side. But why Dark Souls and not Dark Souls 2? In a 2010 interview with Eurogamer about Demon Souls, Miyazaki, the game's director, talks about the philosophy behind the online aspect of it, saying, "We've made a different storyline for every player. That's what the network's for." Even though he's talking about the first Souls game here, the impact of this vision is very clear throughout the series. Still, the game with the biggest amount of multiplayer quirks is Demon Souls' successor, also directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki, Dark Souls. When other players hit an awakening bell, you hear them. When they become cursed statues, you can see them. If they drop items in their world, it might appear in yours. And many other things I'm not gonna get into, like Vagrants and Miracle Resonance, are unique to the single player experience of Dark Souls 1. Playing this game offline might be the worst decision you could make. You don't lose just the ability to summon other players, see bloodstains, and messages. You lose these clues woven into the world that show other people having their own journey, just like you. There's some trade-offs with the Seamless Co-op mod. While most of these features are preserved, there are limits due to not using FromSoft's matchmaking network. Instead of noticing other people's journey, you share yours with someone. I picked a Pyromancer because I'm still a pussy, and my friend Ben picked a Knight because he thought it looked cool, I guess. The biggest difference between us was actually something outside the game. The fact that I look up guides while he doesn't. This made me take us into random detours that didn't make any sense to him. For example, when we went to Ash Lake, he thought I was going to the tree for a shortcut. Somehow. One thing became clear though, Ben is extremely cooperative. If I ask to farm some souls, he's down to sit in the bonfire so I don't have to run back in order to respawn NPCs. If I ask to go to a random place just so I can get a specific item, he offers to help clearing the way. Pretty much the best bro you could have in a co-op run. Another thing that jumped out at me is how I became the de facto "let's go this way" guy. I seem to remember the path connections better than him, which is especially rewarded by Dark Souls map design, so he just trusted me to pick the path every time. We even did the Santa Barbara Sense of Direction scale, which is a self-report made to measure spatial ability. It scores from 1 to 7, 1 being the worst, while 7 is the best. My score was 5.33, his was 3.73. So, being able to navigate Dark Souls' interconnected map might translate a bit to real life. My memory is not infallible though. There were times where he had to remind me there's an elevator that goes pretty close to the Undead Parish bonfire, so I'm glad I don't have to remember everything by myself. The one thing I only noticed in this run is how long it actually takes to shape your character into a certain build. It took 10 hours for our builds to be completely different. We went through the same path, picked the same items, and slowly curated them to our specific tastes. He tended to go for heavier armor and, by consequence, started to seek items that increased his equipment load, because, my god, that man did not get used to fat rolling. I had already drilled into my head the caster way, move light as a feather, hit hard as a truck. Sometimes, because I only had 8 fireballs for the first 5 hours of the game. For those first hours we did play very similarly, the classic hit, roll, heal. Compared to how we play now, 18 hours into the game, that looks like a weird past life. It's actually amazing how different we look currently. Again, we took the exact same routes and the exact same items. Yet I look like a homeless guy with a fire sword, while Ben looks like a rich masochist swinging a Zweihander. I used to dream about co-ops being this good. Do they get scared easily? Do they tend to be cooperative or do their own thing? Are they bored when searching things about the game? How good is their memory when it comes to maps? These are all questions that I've answered not only about Ben, but about myself. Playing the game revealed them little by little. It's not a coincidence that our characters ended up so different from each other. Doesn't mean we're that different in real life, but it does show how our tastes differ. A good co-op game is not just about cooperation, but an expression of self.